my peeps. Hopefully you had a good winter break and you are entering 2025 full of probably naive optimism. I am saying hello to you today from the surprisingly blue, wintry Edinburgh with a video that I thought some of you who are brave enough to visit Edinburgh in winter would find helpful, which is about a couple of things which I think you should consider doing or taking advantage of while you're here for January, February, maybe even start of March, because God knows sometimes spring takes its sweet, sweet time to actually start in the city. What we're experiencing now is not a completely typical winter here in Edinburgh. Usually it's a lot wetter, kind of darker, and for that I'm also going to recommend you go back about 12 months on my channel and watch this video, which is all about things you can do when it's kind of more moist. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have a little seasonal treat, which is something that I wanted to do already for Christmas because it started being available in like November, but it is available all the way until the start of March, and that is the crumble, the gelato crumble from Basement Gelato, which, by the way, one of the best gelatos in town. So yeah, let's have that. Finally, I'm catching up.
Running a gelato business in winter is a challenge, but the talented treat makers at Basement on Queen's Ferry Street have skillfully pivoted to lovely warming options like their fascinatingly over-the-top hot chocolate and the aforementioned crumbles. If you are visiting UK from abroad, this will be a whole cultural moment for you, as a good crumble is one of the traditional desserts of local cuisine. A layer of stewed fruit, baked mix of cookie-like crumb, and a generous portion of gelato of your choosing. On this day, they had either cherry or rhubarb, so we naturally had to try both. Simon with the brown butter gelato, and I had mine with the pink peppercorn one. Honestly, it tasted like something you'd get at a very fancy restaurant, with the main difference being here you get a lunch-sized portion of it. Much recommended. In January, the city is going through a bit of a post-Christmas season hangover. The streets take a good fortnight to get clean from all the extra festival facilities, but the upside is there is soon going to be so much more space and also a lot less people. Winter is the time to take advantage of this dip in visitor numbers and enjoy spots like Royal Mile or Stockbridge without having to share. And of course, the January sales are on if that's something you'd like to partake in. The only thing that I'm going to warn you about, in January, quite a lot of small independent businesses do take a good week to sometimes even the whole month off. So this is the 1 month where it's actually the most likely that you will run into a place just being closed and just like not opening for the foreseeable future. So yeah, be prepared for that if you want to visit any small indie businesses.
Now, if you've been to Edinburgh before, you know that from many vantage points you can see what looks like humongous mountains kind of beyond the city limits, which is the Pentlands. It's a great place to come and have a little hike or a little walk. You know, it's pretty easily accessible by public transport, so it's one of those, I wouldn't say hidden gems because it is so visible, but you know, not that many people come here who do not live here. Which is why for this video I wanted to point out that there is a special kind of added value to the Pentlands, which is that while the city itself rarely gets any snow, here in the Pentlands, if there is snow falling, it will actually stay here for a couple of days. And also, you will always be able to tell if there's snow here because, again, you can see the Pentlands from within the city. So you just look up to the Pentlands, see if they're white, and if yes, then you can pop onto one of these buses and be here in like 40 minutes, spend the day here, enjoy the winter wonderland, which usually is a lot more windy than today. Today is a really nice day, but yeah, I think that is one of the best ways to enjoy snow without having to kind of leave Edinburgh, although like you are kind of leaving it, but not heavily, you know. You might even make a friend here, like this little snowman who someone just complimented me on, but it is not a snowman I made. I just found him, then I accidentally destroyed him and subsequently fixed him. Because for this video, I needed his face to turn the other way, so I was kind of asking for trouble. But I did fix him, so hopefully I fixed my karma also.
Now that we have ventured into the rugged nature-ish, I think it's time to warm up, maybe with a warm beverage. I know that all of you channel regulars are perhaps expecting coffee or hot chocolate, but no, this time I am aiming to please all of you tea drinkers. I am visiting a lovely store on Broughton Street. A fun little area to explore, even outside of tea, but this time we are gonna go to Rosevear. I urge you to visit one of their shops and find yourself a new favorite tea blend. The owners are so knowledgeable in the field, having traveled to all of the tea hotspots of the world, and will find you just what you were missing in your wintry Scottish cold, dark, dreary evenings. For me, it was this Korean blend of green tea, ginger and sage, and oh my word, this smells like one of those Muji humidifier oils. It's fresh, but invigorating and so easy to drink. Of course, you could also, if you do have the budget for it, treat yourself to an afternoon tea experience, like this one at the Balmoral, which was impressive.
So even though January and February might not be the best months to, eat al fresco and enjoy the great outdoors here in Edinburgh, they are great months to partake in interesting cultural events. The most important obviously being Burns Night on the 25th of January this year. There's a couple of places where, well, not a couple, there's a lot of places that you can experience a Burns Night dinner here in Edinburgh. Just off the top of my head, I can think of the Scottish Storytelling Centre on Royal Mile, also the Port of Leith, down in Leith. That's a bit of a modern thing, but you still get like Cayley and obviously Robert Burns' poems. And pretty much every sort of a more traditional eatery in town is going to have some level of Burns Night dinner for you to try. You will probably have to book that in advance. So look it up, either on Instagram or just, if you walk around town, you will probably see little posters. We are shooting this on like the 9th, so it's not quite visible just yet, but soon those will start popping up and you will have all the choice in the world. Also, I would say that one of the nice ways of experiencing Burns Night can be in your own house or like in your own Airbnb. You can go to pretty much any supermarket and see like a nice selection of special sort of edition meals, ready meals, or like, easy to cook at home meals. A couple of years ago we made haggis nachos, and then we also put haggis on some ice cream, and it was horrible. Another thing that's happening in January is Chinese New Year. That's on the 29th, but the events kind of happen on the weekends around it. So on the 25th there is going to be a big celebration on the Mound, and I think that on the 1st or 2nd 22nd, they're supposed to be the sort of dragon dancers at the St. James Quarter. I think that happens there every year. It's quite a nice little tradition, a nice thing to visit if you're here with kids. Yeah, a fun thing to see and photograph. And if you are coming to Scotland really soon, and if you don't mind traveling over to Glasgow, you might want to check out the Celtic Connections, which is a festival of folk and world music and traditional music over in Glasgow between the 16th and the 2nd. I do have a lot of friends who vouch for that festival as being one of their favorites, even though like this is very much not the festival season in Scotland just yet. It's very early for that, but that one is kind of like the first one that happens, and for a lot of people it is their favorite.
January is also the month of Veganuary. Last year I've published a video spotlighting some of my favorite places to eat vegan in Edinburgh, and for this video I am adding one I've never been to before, Slive Hooks in Leith. Now this one really gently pets two birds with one palm for me, as it is both a vegan bistro and a Czech business, rewarding my trip to Leith with flavors of home. I had the goulash made with soy protein chunks and some very feisty chili peppers, and as a side I opted for potato pancakes. I was just so pleased with those because, unlike latkes, Czech potato pancakes are heavy on garlic, marjoram, salt, and just overall flavor, and they are just something else. You will have to try those. You will also find their stunning looking matcha cake here and some raw desserts. Last year's video ended up with a tip for photographers, one about wet days leading to some of the most interesting nighttime photography opportunities. Let me extend this tip into this video too, because winter in Scotland can be so rewarding to all of you who love good photogenic light. The sunrises and sunsets, they just get so pastely and gentle, and they drag out so you don't have to rush as much, and there's no need to get up at 4 AM or stay out until 9 PM. The days are short enough to just make it convenient for you, and the streets are emptier.
And that is it for the first video on this channel of 2025. I'm still getting used to the sound of that. Weird. What about you? Were you saying 2025 all the way in November, or are you still stuck on 2024 like me? Let me know in the comment section. And also, if you have any more ideas on what to do on like a crisp but very cold day here in Edinburgh, obviously share them down below. If you are looking for more ideas from me, then again, do check out that video that we made last year about kind of what to do on a rainy day, because again, this is not the most traditional winter weather. Also, there's a bunch of videos on this channel about Edinburgh's museums, both about the most obvious one and also about some of the ones you might not know about. Check them both out. I'm gonna leave links in the doobly-doo. If you do want to say hi to me on other social media, why don't you check me out on Instagram, Kakibot for illustrations, Kakiblog for photography and kind of life here in Edinburgh. And hey, if you find these tips helpful and if you want to say thanks, one of the best ways of doing that is to head on over to my Patreon page. This is the address. There's also going to be a link in the doobly-doo. It's a place where you can leave me a little tip or a larger tip, and in exchange for the larger tip you will get access to now probably about 13 bonus videos, and more are coming every month. That is truly it from me. Hopefully you're staying warm. Don't forget to bring your hand warmers, your gloves, your hats when you're coming to Edinburgh in winter, and I shall see you soon if you don't freeze to death. Please take care of yourself and your fingies. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye bye.